Alright, today's Friday, which means it is Zer Day. Woo, sir! He is on the EDZ, so you click on EDZ, you click on Windows Cove here, you spawn down here, and you take a little drive. There's a little cave right here. Oh, and that's what I get for jumping too early. Follow the little cave up. You can also grapple up and just come straight up. But, you know, that's not use the way. Let's see what Zuri's got today. Start with this, because this is always the important thing. Free AF exotic. Trash. But that's okay. Now let's look at this. Prometheus lens. It's an okay trace rifle. Is actually pretty fun to use in PvE. It is actually pretty good in PvP, at least it was. I don't know since the changes if it still is, but this thing was pretty crazy. It was beaming like crazy. But PvE ain't half bad at all, so it's fun. I don't remember what its catalyst does, but it is a pretty good weapon. It's fun and to mess around with and have some fun with. Just a bunch of beam of fire and death and destruction, so why not, right? Lucky Raspberry, pretty useless thing. Hopefully one day they make these good, but for now they're pretty shit, so yeah. Dune Marchers is decent, but unfortunately it's a horrible role for Titans, in my opinion. So I would not recommend that. The mobility is way too high. If it was in Recov or anything else, maybe it would have been worth it, but otherwise, sad face, no. Getaway Artist. Okay for PvE, I guess. I mean, technically use PvP, but again, the mobility is way too high for it. If it was in Reveal or anything else, I would have gone for this, but personally, I don't think it's worth it. Too much mobility. Let's see, the Hawk Moon, and it's Surplus. Surplus is not the worst perk in the game, but personally, I'd prefer Opening, Killing Wind, Rangefinder, even anything other than that, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. Let's get on to Legendary Weapons. True Prophecy, not a great role. You can definitely use it if you want to, but I don't think it's a good enough role. I think it's pretty bad, unfortunately. Though Overflow is a nice perk, but it's only a PvE perk now because Overflow no longer works in PvP, which is unfortunate, but Bungie makes sense. We got a Grid Skipper, which is an actually decent role. You can use either full bore or chambered here. Ricochet, range masterwork. It's not horrible, but it's got moving target, which is nice. Snapshot, those kind of useless. Not really helpful, but at the same time, Prophecy's pulse is way better right now, and there's other pulses that are rapid fire that are way better by a mile. So I really wouldn't recommend it, but if you don't have it, you know, grab for collection just for fun of it. It is a cool pulse, it is nice, the scope ain't half bad, so it's not like it's bad or anything. It's just, there are better rolls of better pulses out there, so this one kind of becomes inadequate, in other words. We've got Nikelos, which is the best PvE damage perk there is combo. It's got triple tap with Focus Fury, extra mag. You know, it's not bad. Unfortunately, you know, I wish there was something better than Focus Fury, but I don't think there really is. It is a craftable weapon, though. You can use a harmonizer on it to make it craftable, so that's okay, I guess. We've got a Truth Teller, which is a trash roll. Would not recommend it. We got Tarnished Metal, which is actually a really fun gun for PvE scouts, for like GMs and stuff when you need scouts, or if ever we get anti-barrier scout again or something. And Volt Shot's a great perk. Rapid Hit goes really well with that, so this is actually a pretty decent perk. It's also craftable, so you can use a harmonizer, which I'd recommend. The weapons from this season were really good for PvE, and so they're basically free PvE weapons, so I would recommend them. Shattered Cipher, I believe it's the same. Yeah, it came out with Grid Skipper. I wouldn't really say it's the good role by any means. I mean, you could definitely use it as like a solo thing just to get your health back constantly, or PvP for health, but same time, no range worth of crap, and there's 1,000 better machine guns, rapid fire, and others, so really wouldn't recommend this in any sort of format either. Fire and Forget, this is also a craftable weapon, I remember. It's not that good of a roll, but Chill Clip is fun, even on linears. But it is craftable, so I would recommend crafting this. It actually has a few good rolls for PvE, and I think it has a couple good PvP rolls too. So I would recommend this. Use a harmonizer to make it craftable if you're able to. Onto the armor for the Hunter. Instant trash, just absolute trash roll. It's 63, so it's just useless. My rule 65 or above, otherwise it's trash, so I would not recommend this. Plus the perks are just everywhere and they're not really spaced in a good spot, so I wouldn't recommend it purely based on that logic too. Um, this is the same thing, 64, but it's trash. It's not really distributed right. It's oof. You can obviously you can use any of these pieces. It's not like they're impossible to use, but personally, I don't think it's worth it. It needs to be higher than 64. Cloak doesn't matter as always. A helmet, 64 helmet, which is actually decent for PvE, I won't lie. But it is 64, so personally I wouldn't recommend it. But it is a decent PvE roll. You could put a recov, discipline, or like the more resilience mod on this if you got other armor to counter it. So it makes it okay. And this roll has way too much strength, in my opinion. Unless you were trying to make a strength build, then I guess this is perfect. You use a recov mod or a mobility or a discipline. You can use intellect. You know, you can make different builds here. Space it out more resilience as well. This one's slightly better, you know, good, decent for if you try to make a melee build for a hunter, which there's not many builds that are that great for hunter for melee. So, you know, there's a couple though, so you could definitely use it. On to the Titan. We're on the Titan. Let's look at the armor. We've got gauntlets that are actually too much mobility, but they would have been decent. Could have put a recov on this and had a decent recov discipline build, but unfortunately got way too much mobility. Oof. But I mean, it's still a good roll. Even with all that mobility, it's still not a bad roll. So a lot of discipline, but recov or resil on this. Decent stats. If you got other armor to counter that, it'd be okay. It does suck most of its mobility. Well, 17 of it is, and that's kind of trash. But that actually has good other stats that might actually make a decent build. You got a chest piece that is absolutely shit. Not even going to go over that one. Mark doesn't matter as always. A helmet. A helmet that's actually good. You can put resil on this. You can put discipline, recov, strength. Not strength, sorry, intellect. This thing's got a few different builds. Personally, I would run more resil or discipline just to make that more evened out. As long so you have other armor that counters that helps it. Or you can make this a recov one, that way you have other armor for the resil and the discipline and intellect. This is not a bad roll by any means though. I do like that. And that is an absolute trash roll. Oof, those boots are horrible. On to the Warlock. Alright, we're on to the Warlock. Let's see what we got here. Start with the gauntlets, we have 65. Way too much mobility, though. What is that? Nothing else is spaced out good enough. That is too much mobility. This ruins it all. Onto the chest piece. 66 roll, which is actually pretty decent, but sadly, it's all in mobility again. What are up with these logic, Bungie? Why are we getting these weird rolls? Trash. Trash bond. What is this mobility on a Warlock, bro? Warlocks don't need mobility, Bungie. What the fuck? That should be a recov. That was recov, that'd be a really good roll, but it ain't recov, so it is trash. Another one that is trash because of mobility just out of this world. I mean, you could maybe make this work, but it's not worth it when there's too much mobility. Holy cow, that is crazy. That's bad. Next week in Destiny, new Crucible maps arrive. Let's go! Nightfall, Heist Battleground, Moon, Crucible Team Scorch, plus new map playlist, which will be interesting. Raid will be Deepstone Crypt, Dungeon will be Pitt's Heresy, Mission will be Vox Obscura, bonus will be Crucible Ranks. I'm hoping as well we will also get the Outbreak mission, 0 hour. Then haven't confirmed that yet, but hopefully that is when it arrives. So that could also be next week. We'll see. Okay, that's Xur, and then next week in Destiny thing. Sadly, there is nothing else because it's not Trials this week, so, you know, it is Iron Banner. Have fun, enjoy Iron Banner, you know, Farmer Luna's How, bid Farmer Luna's How for Onslaught. That's the video, though. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment what you think. Did you think Xur brought anything good? Because kind of was trash again, but that's okay. Xur's like that. Eventually, he'll give us some good, I promise. Maybe one day. Who knows? Anyways, y'all have a good day. We out. Adios.